Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the aftermath. We have in the lobby Buff Curry, a.k.a. AJ Turnup from the It's About Bucking Time podcast. Of course, over here to the side of me is Stevie Slick Probert. You might know him as Coach Probert. You might know him as Slick. Either way, you're about to know him. Hey, listen, this show is not for your children.
It's not.
Probably not for your mom unless she's hot. This is a show where all of you guys and girls out there in La La Land can come on and vent, rant, bitch, moan, complain, kvetch. There's a word for you, kvetch. Or otherwise about what's going on with the Buccaneers, what's going on with the coaching staff, what should be going on. Tell us how you feel. I know you guys have sat there and been upset about this all day today. So without further ado, we got to bring in, he's too buff. He's the stuff. No. It's not Buff Bagwell from WWE. It's AJ Turnup from the It's About Bucking Time podcast. AJ, welcome to the show, bro.
Hold on, guys. How you doing? Had to decompress, but I still got a lot to say, and but I'm gonna let y'all start because yesterday I was just caught up in the motions so bad. I knew it was a bad day because the Wi-Fi just broke down, and I said, you know what? Let me just collect my thought and get myself together. I want to be logic. My motto is don't react, reflect. So it was a lot of reflecting going on. Again, thank you guys for having me on.
Anytime, brother.
Hey, so we've got a couple guests coming up. Well, at least one confirmed right now. He'll be here in about 7 minutes. You know him from Bucs Report. He puts out the Carter's Corner album or articles each week. Basically a satirical, poking fun at the absurdity and the hypocrisy that is the NFL at points in time. That would be Carter Brantley, also from the RBLR podcast. I had to say that in my head again. He'll be here in about 5-6 minutes. And let me tell you, just to kind of set the tone, he's going to give us a perfect example of what kind of rants we're looking for. So if you guys are out there on YouTube, I will be bouncing off here and putting the link to join the show. For those of you joining us from Facebook, the link is down there in the comments section underneath the post you saw on Facebook. Twitter's kind of a pain in the ass. So if you want to jump on, you're going to have to go to YouTube and grab the link. I will try to post it in the comments section of YouTube, but Twitter's kind of a joke sometimes. Slick, you got 5 minutes to carry this with AJ until Carter gets here.
No problem.
I do want to say there was a lot of things wrong in that game. I'm sure, Slick, you're more level-headed. AJ, you bring the heat. I'm more of like Chicken Little, the sky's falling. But let me tell you, do you want to know what I was really like watching that game yesterday? You guys want to know? You want to know what it was like for me? That was basically my entire afternoon. And that's where we're kind of going to go with this. If you didn't like that, I have the silent version. There you go. Fuck you. Slick, let me hear some calm, cool, collected thoughts. AJ, dude, too buff for the stuff, man. You're going to have to turn it up. I'm going to go put the link to join the show for any of you guys out there or girls who have the testicular fortitude to join us. I'll be back in like 3 minutes. Slick, AJ, take it from here. I'll be right back.
Sure, man. And you said you had some time to reflect, AJ. What did that reflecting get you to? Because I'm still fucking mad.
Yeah, I can calmly say this. Leftwich still got to go.
Mm-hmm.
He has to go. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's in over his head. And looking at his interviews today, those chuckles and those laughs, that shows me a guy who's not taking this serious and who probably already knows he's a dead man walking. And that is the scary thing. You know how it is. He's that type of person. If he's going to go out, he's going to go out spiteful. So this has me concerned going into the game against Ravens. But before we even get to that, I honestly think that he decided to run that first play in the beginning of the first quarter. That was him saying a fuck you to the people that were criticizing him. But the funny thing is, the only person he fucked was himself because he
Mm-hmm.
looked stupid, he looked competent. He
Yeah.
was not in control. You were losing. You made everybody look bad. But at the same time, 90% of it was, of course, is Leftwich. But I don't leave the defense off the hook. And it's not the players. It's Bo's stubbornness. As I told you, he's a stubborn individual. The cushion coverage doesn't work. I told everybody this. There was one play where the backup Ryan came in and he did a cushion and he was so terrible at it. PJ Walker immediately picked on him. So
Mm-hmm.
the simple fact is coaching, this is what needs to happen. Leftwich, he needs to be going immediately. And Bowles needs to be on the hot seat. So he can still stay, but he does need the pressure to understand, hey, you can't have any more shit games like this. Otherwise, you can go too. And give it back to Arians. And after that, I lead it with you, Slick. You go ahead. Knock it out.
All right. So I had a little look at it and I decided to grade everything. I give coaching an F or an ungradable because I just don't think it would pour across the board. Every
Yeah.
shape or form of it just looked poor. Execution of that poor game plan was even worse. Players dropping balls, Tom Brady being frustrated, just throwing at the dirt because things weren't going the way he wanted. The O line giving up, the D line not fitting the run. And I can't just blame Coach Bowles and his stubbornness on this one because I've got to come down on the players a little bit too because your coverage doesn't dictate your run fits. Your coverage and your run fits run together. There's still no reason to be giving up 170 yards across the board on that. I just don't see it. I think there is something amiss with the Bucs. It's like they don't have an identity right now. They don't know who they are. When we had Bruce Arians, it was risk it, no biscuit. And the defense shouldn't have changed that much because it's only missing one or two players. And yes, they were key players, but they were players. It was only two players nonetheless. The rest of that team is pretty much intact. It's not massively three players. Sorry, it's not massively different. So the thing that I find frustrating is that we've taken so many backward steps. It's unreal, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Because at the beginning of the year, it looked like an elite defense, and everyone's like, "Oh, we've got this elite defense. We've got this elite defense," and it was just so happens we were playing against teams, and I can't even say it's the teams that we went against because at the end of it all, we went against teams that were better than what we played against last week or yesterday, and that's a fact. There's no one we've played so far is as sorry as the Carolina Panthers.
No,
nobody. And we were able to stay in the game with every single one of them, bar Kansas City. We had some garbage time touchdowns with, but every single other one has been close. Even the wins have been close. There hasn't been that, from an offensive standpoint, that, exclamation point game. We haven't had one yet. And that's the frustrating part. Thank you, Christopher Cole. Welcome for joining in. And Johnny Dean, the professor, is also, perhaps everyone is who bashed our Arians needs to change their game plans like they accused him of last year. But there's some thought to that. I mean, what we all thought we were going to get is this Tom Brady / Byron Leftwich game plan or offense that was going to just revolutionize. And we heard all these stories about how there's more Tom Brady than Byron Leftwich. And Byron Leftwich can't say anything because he's an offensive coordinator and the guy's not head coach. So you can't really go against your head coach. Your head coach comes in and says you change it, you can change it. Quarterbacks can dislike it. I haven't seen from Tom Brady any fire directed at any of the coaches, and he has done in the past. Josh McDaniels, who he worked with for years and years, there's video evidence of him screaming at him. He has not done any of that. So I think he likes the offense. I just don't think it's clicking for him because I don't think it suits the players that we have. I don't think that New England dink it and donk it all the way up the field is going to work for us because we don't have players designed for that. I'm not saying we can't do it. It's just not happening right now. And we need to go back to a bit of that no risk it, no biscuit vertical offense. That actually works because guess what? We won a championship with it. We took in a bit of Tom Brady's style because we know the whole risk it, no biscuit at the beginning of the 2020 season didn't work at all. Like it really struggled to embed, and then they changed things. You remember that we got to that Chicago game, and we started to change things, and then you started seeing players in motion. Then you started to see, a bit more of the run, a little bit more of the run game being different. The out the backfield passing that wasn't there at the beginning of the season. They added that in for Brady, so we know that they're capable of changing. But that's with BA as the man. What I need to see is, what does Brady want out of this offense? Because he's, at the moment, he doesn't seem that bothered with it. He thinks the player's the problem. I honestly believe that he thinks the player's the problem, not Byron Leftwich. Because I believe that they sat down and cooked this thing up themselves. Quarterbacks and OCs spend a lot of time together, and they build the game plan 9 times out of 10 together. Byron Leftwich thinks he's smarter than Tom Brady, then he deserves to be out of that building straight away. The thing I find frustrating about Buccaneers fans is when Tom Brady has a great game, it's, oh, well, Byron Leftwich is just there as like a dummy person that just exists to take up a space. Tom Brady's quarterback coach is just a guy who holds a clipboard. Tom Brady is the way we win. That's how it's always been seen as by your generic Bucs fan. When we lose, it's get rid of a person, that person, that person, that person. And I don't think I got to put a bit of credit on Tom Brady himself. He's not playing like he is, and he's got a lot of shit going on, and I can understand that. But I think everyone, if you look the way when we don't make plays, we're walking. There's no jog, there's no ump, there's no heads up. Everyone's got their heads down, and everyone looks like they're coasting through games. This doesn't look like a team that wants to go and win a championship. It looks like a team of the old Buccaneers when they would just lethargically work their way through games.
Hey, let me jump in here, guys. Great stuff there, Slick. We have the honor of bringing the next man on. He's going to set the example for all the chodes out there watching from the RBLR Bucs podcast. He's famous for his Carter's Corners articles on Bucs Report. Without further ado, we're going to bring on somebody that not only knows how to rant, but can articulate it way better than me. Ladies and gentlemen, Carter Brantley, you've heard about him. You've not seeing him right now, but Carter, welcome to the show, brother.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I would welcome myself to the show, but I'm dealing with a girlfriend who's sleeping right now, so I don't want to wake her up by turning on the lights. But yeah, it's been a tough couple of weeks, man. It's been rough. There's not really much to say. I mean, it's just I will say a lot because I love to talk shit about Tom Brady because like Slick was saying, everyone hops on Tom Brady's jock, for lack of a better word. I'll try to keep it a little clean, but no one likes to criticize him. Everyone likes to give him credit when the Bucs win. No one really likes to criticize him when they're losing. And right now, the Bucs look like dog shit. I mean, if we're all in this podcast, we're all sitting here, and if you're listening to this, you and I and everyone here have the same amount of touchdowns that Tom Brady threw on Sunday. Like we all of us combined. It's awful. It's awful. You can't play against the Carolina Panthers and not score a single touchdown. That's just inexcusable. I mean, their team has an interim head coach. They had PJ Walker as the third string quarterback starting. I mean, they had countless players injured or just players disinterested in playing football. And then the week before, of course, it was the Steelers where they were playing practice squad secondary and they managed to score one measly touchdown. I mean, it's just been a pathetic couple of weeks for the Bucs. And it's just across the board, like y'all have mentioned, defense, offense. Special teams has been okay. So I guess I can't really say across the board. But yeah, it's been atrocious. I've hated watching it. I've felt disgusted afterwards, like I wasted 6 hours of my time, which I hate wasting time, especially on crappy football. They should really donate their game checks. I mean, there are people suffering out there in the world. So, they could have donated their game checks to, Fort Myers is suffering right now from Hurricane Ian. Donate their game checks to them because honestly, they none of those players deserved it. They played like total ass. It's just been really, really disappointing to see a team just coasting off of a Super Bowl victory from 2 years ago. I mean, like, what's the point? Yeah, I mean, I'm just, yeah, it's been a real disappointment. That's all I can really say. It's been awful. It's been awful.
Carter, let me ask you a question, boss. Let me ask you a question here. You've been around the block with the Buccaneers like most of us have through the good, the bad. I'm sure you can remember the fire Greg Schiano.
Oh, for sure.
Is this coaching staff, like you said, resting on the laurels of the Super Bowl? Do you think when Bowles was saying there's people, because remember, he didn't say players, he said there's people around here that are still living off the Super Bowl. Was he talking about Byron Leftwich?
I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of with Slick. I don't really think it's just Byron Leftwich. I don't think it's a team problem. It's a systematic issue. It seems to be a real problem from the coaching staff, from the players. Everyone shares the blame. And the problem is, if you get rid of Byron Leftwich, who do you promote? Because I don't know, if the offense isn't working with him at the helm and with the coaches that they have, then you promote someone from within. It's probably not going to get that much better. I mean, I can't imagine that it does. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he was referring to Byron Leftwich. Maybe he wasn't. Who really knows? But yeah, it's all speculation. But I don't know. It definitely just seems like they're just kind of out there, just collecting a check, just coasting through. They're going to assume that they're going to win the NFC South, and you know what? The pathetic thing is, they probably will win the fucking NFC South because this division is awful. It's atrocious. So it's they have to beat out the Saints, Panthers, and Falcons. Although they lost to the Panthers, so who knows? But it's just it's awful. It's awful. It's awful football to watch. Tom Brady was talking about, like, everyone asked him about the parity of the NFL, and he answered with that god awful answer, like, "Oh, there's a lot of bad football being played." Like, motherfucker, what are you doing right now? Like, how do you think the Bucs are doing if you think that the rest of the NFL is playing bad football? Like, God, I don't know. And then he compared playing football to being in the military, and then he apologized for it. It's just been a terrible couple of weeks for the Bucs. Sorry, I kind of got off topic from your question there, Keith. But
no, that's good. That's good. And I know you're pressed for time and all that. We do appreciate you taking the time to jump on here with us. Do me a favor. Kind of pimp out that Carter's Corner article and then tell everybody where they can find you. Tell us a little bit about RBLR, because I say it wrong half the time, so I'm sure these fans need a little explanation.
Oh, no, it's all good. RBLR stands for Rays, Bucks, Lightning, Rowdies. We cover all four Tampa teams. We try to keep it local. Check us out, RBLR Nation. We're all over social media. And we got our podcast for the Bucks. That's the one that I'm on. It's a fun show, fun time. We're not as harsh. We got a little bit of negative vibes going there, especially right now, but we try to keep it a little more positive. But it's nice to get on here and kind of just bitch about how shitty this football team is, because I'm getting sick and tired of having to spend my Sundays watching this shitty team. I mean, I could be doing something productive with my life, but instead I choose to do this for some ungodly reason. So yeah, that's all I got. Thank y'all so much for having me on. Y'all have a great rest of your night, and happy ranting.
Yeah. Hey, thank you so much, Carter.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good one.
Take care.
All right. So, hey, real quick, guys, he went a little light on the Heat. So I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. All right. I'm going to, what's that? I'm going to channel my inner Dennis Green. We are who the fucking record says we are. We're 3 and 4? 3 and 4?
3 and 4.
And you're leading the division like a bunch of fucking candy asses. Look, I don't give a shit if Tom Brady is in the middle of a divorce, 14 custody battles. He's getting sued by Nike for basically stealing their fonts for his brand. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit if Gronkowski isn't there. I don't give a shit that we might have some injuries and all that. Every team has injuries. Every team has to deal with the same shit. The only difference is they don't have the GOAT at quarterback. So Do I think Brady's struggling? Yeah, dude, he's going through a divorce, all that shit. And like the memes out there say, he's probably sitting on that bench going, I gave up my fucking family for this? Seriously? For 3-4? He hasn't been 3-4 at this point in the season since 2002. Think about that for a minute. That's 2 fucking decades. So, Byron, pull your head out of your ass before you have to ask me if I want to supersize my meal, okay, bro? Jacksonville Jaguars, you are the real winners here. You avoided a bullet that's called Byron Leftwich and Todd Bowles. And I'm going to steal a little bit of AJ's heat here. Todd Bowles, why you stand on the sideline looking like Bubba Gump? Seriously. Why? Okay, let's just rehash this real quick, and then I'm gonna let you guys go off. And by the way, Slick, nice hat, buddy. Is that pewter?
It's a little, it's a little bit, but yeah.
Damn, they sell that shit in the UK.
Yeah, they sell that shit in the UK. Creamsicle's the hard shit to get hold of. You can't get creamsicle over here.
Shit,
Well, I'll tell you right now, these coaches need to get in a circle and fucking jerk some creamsicle out, because right now that's how they're playing, like the creamsicle Buccaneers. All right, where was I going to go with it? Oh.
Did we just pop this up? You might like this.
Yeah. Exactly, dude. Exactly. Thank you so much. Wait, before we go any farther, Chris Cole, Ben Cornett, Johnny Dean, thank you for the support, guys. Oh, and hey, y'all got the link. Don't be scared. These two guys on the screen, they might bite. Back to my bullshit with this shit. Okay, all right. Here's where we're at, guys. When Arians was head coach, it was no risk and no biscuit. The team was fired up. They were firing on all cylinders. We were putting away teams like the Panthers, 31-7, 41-17. Okay, and now we're all sitting around here scratching our asses, going, why does everybody look so mellow and melancholy? And then you look at the coaching staff, and they're just standing there like they're fucking whacked out on Thorazine or something. And he's like, well, we just didn't execute. Dude, you sound like Tony Dungy saying we're just not in sync. Dude, you sound like Lovie Smith. We're not September ready. Here's the thing. You guys have a clear path to go back to the Super Bowl when the season started. You had a brutal 4-game stretch. You came out 2-2. Nobody was too pissed off about that. You lost back-to-back week to 1-week teams, not just 1-win teams you lost to back-to-back weeks. They were teams that were decimated by injuries, just like the excuse you guys are giving for the Bucs. So how do you let Pittsburgh beat you with no defensive backs who are even relative? How do you let Carolina beat you with a fucking XFL quarterback? Think about that. An XFL quarterback took your fucking lunch money.
Yeah.
I don't want to take too much time here. I do like my little videos here, and I'll play it for Johnny Dean because he probably missed it. Hey, Johnny, I got something for you, buddy. I'm gonna go ahead and wrangle up some more people for you guys. But AJ, I can see you got your thumb right there on your chin. You look like you're ready to say something. Slick and AJ, go hurt some people's feelings. I'll be back. Also, here in a little bit, we're gonna have. It looks like there's a very good chance we're gonna have former Buccaneer defensive linemen, everybody's favorite Bucs podcaster, Big Game James Canada, should be joining us very soon. Now, he's not the type that's going to go in, and he's definitely not going to use the language that, all three of us use like we love to. But he's going to give us a perspective.
No success.
Well, he's going to give us a perspective of someone who's literally been in the locker room, gone through stuff like this. Because if you're a Buccaneer, you've gone through a season like this, no matter what era it is. And so look forward to that. I'm going to jump out for a minute. Slick, good job with the memes. AJ, I'm going to say this, and I say this with respect because I got nothing but love. If I don't come back on this screen and you're not red in the face screaming with spit all over your phone, I'm going to call you out, bro. All right, I'll be back, gentlemen.
No problem. No problem. I actually want to challenge Carter's statement. I think the problem is Buck fans and everybody is making it about one man. And when you do that, that is the issue.
It's not Tom Brady. It's all of it.
It's not Tom Brady. It's because Carter sounds like Shannon Sharps of the world. You want to put all this blame on one man. And again, for people who know the game, I tell this, leave the fluff and stuff to the amateurs. Of course, everybody who watches football doesn't know the game, hasn't experienced it or played it. So it's just a common sense error right there. It's football 101. You know, one man. There's no one player in the history of this game that is just done it all. Nobody. It's a team effort. There is a reason why teams win the entire thing. This isn't the NBA. This isn't the Michael Jordan, LeBron, Steph Curry. One person there, you can have someone that redefines a position in football. That doesn't make them the one and only. So that's the problem right there. We got to stop this. Of course, maybe things are interfering in Brady's life. That's none of our business. You don't know. But for all we know, he could be happy as hell, like behind the scenes, and we will never know the story until you talk to that man or he comes out and say something. So we got to stop that. And again, when it comes to coaching, the problem is that's that mentality when you play the game, or if you know you don't talk back to the boss. That's BS. We are in a time now where it should be able to call people out on their bullshit no matter who you are. If you're hurting a team, then you need to go. Like the Shiano. I remember when people were calling for his head. You know why? He didn't know what the hell he was doing. Cutter, none of these guys did not know what they were doing. So again, it's a domino effect. If the coaches are shit, the production is going to be shit. And if a coach doesn't inspire or fire your players up, you shouldn't be surprised if they have the issues. I'm not saying Brady's perfect. By all means, Brady is not perfect. At the same time, I think there's a more turmoil. I don't know. He might be okay with these plays, but at the same time, I'm not seeing that. I see more of a we need to get something done. One thing I know that Brady cannot stand is predictability. And I guarantee you, he's like, though, this shit is, and we're at a time now where I think he has matured in a way. Because remember, when him and Josh were arguing, he was in his mid-30s back then. So of course he's gonna let it out. I think he wants to show more respect as he got older to go, you know what? I don't need turmoil with the coaches. I'd rather chew out the players if they aren't doing anything. Yeah, at that moment, he is probably chewing out the players for playing like shit, as he should. But I think we need to stop making this about Brady. This is about the Buccaneers. The entire Buccaneer organization right now is not living up to expectations. And when Carter said, well, if we fire Leftwich, that might ruin the whole thing, I disagree, because you want to know why? And I say this to every Buck fan. The problems are not hard. There are a lot of simple things. Remember, we always say, if you're not having fun with this roster, then you shouldn't be in this league. You actually have it easier and made to go out there and just, again, I know how we disagree, but crossing routes, there's one play that Brady, when he threw that 3rd and 1, where he threw it and tried to chuck it to Chris Godwin. If you go back and look at the tape, Perriman was wide open, a crossing route. If they run that more, I think the line will be more in sync. And to do that, it's just, you got to try something new. I know where they say it might not take time. Do it, because a defense might not expect it. I just think, and when it comes to, like you said, we don't have an identity. You know why? Because the coaches don't have an identity.
Yes.
They have an ego problem. And that's what I'm saying. And it's so funny. We need structure. One thing the Bucs, if you think about it, you know what the biggest things Gruden and Arians had in common? Accountability. And that is the problem with Dungy and Bowles. They put more pressure and accountability on one side of the ball instead of both. Gruden said, I don't care who you are. If you are not up to my expectations, then I'll sit you down. That's why people can say what they want. I love when he used to get on Keyshawn's ass. Keyshawn used to bitch so much about things, but Gruden's like, well, you're not on my play. And Keyshawn thought that he was bigger than what he was, when at the time he was very good, but we never said Keyshawn was an elite. One thing I love about Arians, he call you out and put you on your ass and tell you about yourself.
Yep.
So we don't need we love Dungy is the kind of guy that I love. I can see him as a mentor of Bowles. If I'm having a bad day, you talk to me. I like Arians and Gruden to kind of get your shit together today.
You just got my creative juices going there now. I've got some.
Well, they make you look at things for the bigger perspective. Man, I'm fucking up right now. Arians would be like, are you getting paid? Are you in the league? Do you have an opportunity to change it? Those Arians gives me the mentality of you are your problem, but you are also your solution. Now let's make it happen. That's what we are missing in that locker room. That is what we are missing. It takes someone. For me, if I were in there right now, give me the opportunity. I'm not afraid to hurt their egos. I would say, you can change this shit. I'm gonna call you out on all your shit, but at the end of the day, I believe in you. I know what you can do. I've seen it. All you got to do is stop the bullshit. Let's put that mirror up and let's look at each other and make it happen. It's there. So at this point, that's what they need. They need Arians back in there. I think Arians is sitting back right now like, just let me get there. Let me get in there right now, because I guarantee you he'll be like, Devin, you need to shut the fuck up and make a tackle and just be quiet. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's what we need. Accountability, adjustment, and most importantly, we need this, the heart.
And watch me jump right on Slick and interrupt you. Slick, we love you, bro. Stick around for a minute, because in the lobby right now from the Big Game Sports Buzz, you know him as Big Game James Canada, former Buccaneer great, probably the most level-headed guy that's going to be on this screen, but judging by the name on his video, he might be bringing a little heat. Everybody, welcome James Canada to the broadcast.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
How you doing?
Man, no complaints. Life is good. I came in on the back end hearing what Buck Curry was saying, and it's, the coaching style is different because every guy responds different to different kind of coaches. At the bottom of at the end of the day, you made a good point of like we said, Arians might say, you're a professional, you get paid. So at some point in time, no matter what coach is saying what and how they pushing buttons, somebody got to dig deep and decide that they're going to step up and be the person that's making the plays. And right now it looks like all 11 guys on the field are all looking for someone else to step up and be the playmaker instead of doing it themselves. And that's the hardest thing to watch right now when watching Buccaneer football.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think one of the things I would, just to piggyback off what you were saying, Buff, you are right. I think that one of the things I find with this Buccaneers coaching staff is both Bowles and Leftwich are two alike. They're both very stoic. They're both very quiet individuals. So can you remember all those times the media would blast BA because he said, well, Tom Brady didn't make this play. Tom Brady didn't make that play. There's none of that right now. None of that happens. Anytime that question comes up about Brady, no, he's fine. He's fine. He's fine. He's fine. This play's fine. This play's doing okay. They're very, I wouldn't even say thought out answers. They're just the cliche, like, oh, Luke Getzey's struggling. What do you think about that? Oh, we think he's doing all right. Or we think he's where he needs to be. Whereas BA would probably come out and go, he needs to make more plays. He's in a position to go and make plays. That's what we need to do. It's as simple as that. Or his ass will go. His words will be, or his ass will go to be riding the pine, and I'll bring somebody else in. Yeah, and that's the difference that he brings. And I think when you kind of have like a so-so coach, and I'm not saying that, I've heard many people say that Coach Bowles is quite lively on the sideline at practice. He's just not lively on the game. He wants to be a bit more, I don't know, doesn't want to lead with his emotions, maybe. I don't know what it is, but supposedly at practice, he's a lot more animated. Because people have always said to him, oh, you don't have the fire that BA does. You're so quiet on the sideline. He said, no, but if you were to watch me at practice, I'd chew people out just fine. Maybe that's what he needs to bring to the to game day. When a play's not going, say something, hold someone accountable.
Right, Slick, the hardest thing about that is, man, you're not going to change who you are on game day. No, and so for what he does on game day, he's got to be doing the same thing during the week. You can say he's one way during the week and does it different on game day, but it's not. And this is the thing, and a lot of people what I love most about Tony Dungy is, yes, he was mild mannered, he was laid back, he stayed, he didn't curse, he didn't swear, but he put the right kind of dogs around him on the coaching staff that would lay into you and rip you up. So while maybe you didn't hear from Tony, Rod Marinelli was gonna give it to you. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Monty Kiffin was gonna give it to you. Herm, they laid into you, they ripped you. So you knew where you stood and you knew what the standard was. Like y'all said, if you got too many to like styles and like coaches, it's not going to work. You have to have a mixture in there. And so if Todd Bowles has his approach, that's cool. But who you going to put with it that's going to rip the shit up when you need it to be ripped up? Who going to flip over the table when you need the table flipped? Mm-hmm. And obviously it's not happening from anyone because it just looks so vanilla and bland right now that guys aren't even getting fired. It doesn't look like they're getting fired up to go play. And I never thought I would say that about, a Buccaneers football team from what the expectations were coming into the season from last year.
Okay. And Pat, first of all, again, welcome. And like I said, it's a privilege to talk to someone who actually played the game and you played it for our favorite team. So shout out to you. I got a quick question I would like to ask you because as a player and a coach, in your opinion, what type of style, especially in different eras are different, but would you rather have a coach that chews you out, but he believes in you and he wants to help you? Or would you rather have a coach that is stoic and
his internet's gone.
You even have the respect? Would you have the same respect for that guy though? In your opinion?
I'll put it like this, and being now where I work with younger kids in high school and middle school and coach them, I don't need anybody to pat me on my back to tell me that I'm doing okay. My actions are going to do that. I need someone that's going to get me going. And I was blessed to play for both types of coaches. You know what I'm saying? Like my college coach, I just went back to my old school this weekend for homecoming, and he's smiling and laughing and having a good time. And I was like, dude, this is the first time in, all the years of me knowing this guy that I seen him smile now that he's retired. You know what I'm saying? Like when we played, he barely smiled at all. He ripped, he cursed, he let you have it. But at the same time, I remember Coach Alt challenging me on the sideline during the game, and it made me hit a switch then to become a better player. Like I said, Tony didn't lay into you like that, but Marinelli did, because I knew when I was in Tampa, I was going to have to give my best to play with Rod Marinelli, and even to try to break the lineup and suit up and be able to get on the field, you were going to have to play a certain way. So I think everybody responds different. Younger people, like I said, I don't believe you can coddle and be soft and be nice to the people you coach. And I believe that people genuinely know when you genuinely care about them. You know what I'm saying? So if you come rip into me, my only rule is it's got to be for a reason. I got to deserve it. You're not just going to browbeat me to browbeat me and just come cuss me and call me on my name just because that's the only way you know how to talk to people. So if it has no merit behind it or what you're doing to it, we're going to have issues. But if you lean into me, let me have it, and then back in my mind, I'm like, damn, he's right. I've been tripping this whole week. I ain't been doing my job in practice. I ain't getting things done. Yeah, I needed my ass ripped right now. Then I can take that all day, and I respect you for it. And great coaches know how to motivate those players, know how to motivate the players. And you might not talk to every guy on the team the same because player A not going to react like player B and C. You know what I mean? So you're going to hit A one way, B one way, C another way. And, you have that, but that comes down to your management style and how you're able to do that.
Yes, sir. And you know what? One thing that I do see that you have that I feel like, because I coach the game too, and I've also seen it with younger kids, a lot of things, and this goes into my next point about coaches. I feel like you knew how to control your ego and you accepted accountability. Like you said, if you knew there was substance behind the coach's bark, you put your ego inside and said, you know what? He's got a point. Let me straighten it out. Now, can we say this same for the coaching staff? Because I feel right now, in my opinion, if I were to tell Byron, you are too predictable, he would scoff, but not because he feels that I don't know what I'm talking about, but he thinks he is at such a better level where I honestly feel like I would love to tell him, like, Leftwich, with all due respect, this is shit. It's predictable, and you are putting players at risk, running for net up the gut all the time. It's like literally, and then you're not utilizing your weapons. Again, for me as a coach, and as a player, how would you feel if you had this feeling that your coach was more in fear of the opposing team instead of believing in you? Wouldn't you feel some type of way as a player, like, well, damn, coach, are you playing for them or are you playing for us? I'm gonna leave it at that. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I agree with you. You have to know that your coach got your back. You know what I'm saying? If we about to square up and throw these things on somebody, I got to know you swinging at the left while I'm swinging at the right. If I'm swinging from one direction and you're not swinging from another one, and I'm gonna catch them bolos I can't see, we gonna have it's a problem. So one thing I learned a long time ago. Yeah, you respect your opponent. You don't fear your opponent. So coaches, most coaches gonna say the right thing, but in the meeting room behind closed doors, they gonna let the players know what they really feel about their team and what they think we can do to them that week.
Mm-hmm.
And so, maybe I'm hoping some of that is going on behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe we seeing one part of the story and not hear another one, because we would have those conversations like, hey, look, we're gonna go in this week and we're gonna put it on pretty bad, and this is how we're gonna do it. Everybody gotta believe this this is what it's gonna take to get there. And then you see your defensive coordinator at the podium like, yeah, these guys got a lot of great weapons. This is gonna be tough for us to stop and slow down. Yet we already figured out 5 ways to take that top weapon away, and we're gonna make sure that we let you know about it when we get on the field. So, like I said, that coach and that management style, and I am a firm believer that you can't have too many of the same type of people, but everyone's got to have something that that puts the whole puzzle together. So when you look at it, it looks complete, but that every piece in there is a different makeup. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And to piggyback off what everyone's talking about here, with the coaches the way they're set up at the moment, this shouldn't be too much of a departure from the defense that we've always had, because the defensive staff hasn't changed. The only thing that's changed really is the defensive coordinator is now the head coach, and he's promoted 2 guys to be like a run game coordinator. And I have read a story where he said he didn't have enough time to actually go and hire a DC.
Yeah, he said that.
He decided to play call himself. So next year he would actually hire a DC. Maybe he goes with in-house, or maybe he goes elsewhere and looks somewhere else for a DC. It's obviously going to be someone of the same thought process, but the Buccaneers coaching staff hasn't changed from a defensive standpoint, hasn't changed that much. The offensive, the coaching staff's the same. The players have changed a little bit here and there. It's a big change when your head coach, who was an offensive-minded coach, is now gone, because it allows your offensive coordinator to work with what his core philosophy is. His core philosophy is going to be slightly different. It shouldn't be too much of a departure away, because you're from the same coaching tree, basically. And what we're seeing at the moment is a team that just doesn't look like they want to be in games. Every time I've watched the Buccaneers be in a game that they've either lost or scraped the win, I've gone, that team wanted it more. Kansas City, from the moment they played, they wanted that game. They wanted our blood. They wanted it. We just coast through it. The next game come in, we play against Atlanta.
Yeah.
The fact we wanted it all the way to the 4th quarter, and in the 4th quarter we just dropped the ball. They wanted it. They got momentum, and we got away with one. But hey, penalties, officiating in that game was a goddamn mess anyway.
Yeah,
and we always had a
they got away
reason.
with them too.
We always had a reason why the Buccaneers failed. So we were happy with the outcome with Dallas, because that was always going to be a slugging game. It was a difficult 4-game series. It was on the road in Dallas. We expected that to be difficult. We win it, great. Then we move on to the Saints, our arch nemesis, our kryptonite. We beat them, and I said on shows, my show and across the internet, saying this should fire up the Bucs to be almost immortal, because they finally beat their enemy in the regular season. You'd have thought that would have changed completely. Now we can beat anybody, because there was this one team, no matter how poor they were, which quarterback they put in, they always found a way to beat us and embarrass us. We beat them. We embarrassed them. So we're like, okay, great, fantastic. And I was thinking, this should really kick us up the ass, and we should really get rolling, because this has never happened before. Awesome. We get rid of that. Then we go into the next game. Kansas City, Green Bay. We're defunct to weapons. So we go, oh, yeah, okay, we lost that game because we didn't have enough weapons. Then we go into the next game, Kansas City. Kansas City wanted our blood. They wanted revenge. They wanted something. They needed to prove a point. So they did. We weren't good enough in that game, 100%. Then we go to the game that should be, let's get back on track. And it's all like what you said, Buff, about respecting the opposition too much. Why would you make a game plan and set where you have someone like Mike Evans going up against got a third string cornerback and a guy who was off the practice squad and a guy who was a safety that was a 7th round pick the year before? You are not utilizing him in that way. And what you do is you try and run the ball. And guess what? They weren't losing defensive front players. Like, don't get me wrong, like TJ Watt's an absolute dude, but I bet he's a better pass rusher than he is a run fitter.
Yeah.
He's a stud, but he's a pass rusher. He's an edge player. He ain't blocking up in the middle of the field, which is where we like to run it up the gut. We go into the next game. This was the game where everyone came out and said the Bucs weren't good enough against the Steelers. This was your way to right the wrongs. We are back on track. We look worse. And now it looks like a downward spiral where everyone's kind of like looking at their shoes, and it doesn't look like there's pride there. And I don't know if that's because the coaching staff are too busy looking at their shoes. There's no one's firing anybody up. It's just everyone kind of just like, hey, well, this sucks. And that's the attitude that we're kind of getting from our Buccaneers right now. Is just, let's look at that. Oh, look, there's some gum on my shoe.
I mean, Slick, I honestly think, and this is two different ways I look at this. I look at it as a player when you figure out, all right, man, coach, you're waiting to sit back and see, what your coaching staff is going to say and what's going to happen and who's going to help lead you and get you out of this thing, right? So one part of me is wondering what's going on behind closed doors today. Monday is that day you go in, you lift weights, you watch film as a team. Then you talk about what your install is going to probably be on Wednesday when you start the new week. But you got to go over the day. You got to talk about it. You got to figure out how to address it in your meeting room. Go out there, do your walkthrough, get ready for your next opponent real quick, and then get to work on Wednesday. And now, though, I'm thinking, and then the other part of me is like being a fan and looking back. Holy hell, can I see somebody light a fire somewhere and tell me something? Because every week is like, oh, we're okay. We don't got to get on the same page. Oh, we didn't do this in the preseason. So, it's taking a little bit longer to gel than we want. Hell, the teams we played against went against the same thing. We played against a third-string quarterback this week. A third-string quarterback, like you know what I mean? Safeties and DBs that were never on the field. And I never disrespect, when someone gets picked or where they come from, because It's not like I was a first-round pick just balling all pro. I know what it's like to have to bust your ass to make a roster and get on the field, right? So a lot of those guys are fighting to get there, but at the same time, from just looking at it and knowing what you have, even with the injuries we have, we had better athletes on the field than the Carolina Panthers did, but yet didn't maximize. The week before, like you said, it's the same thing. So now it's a pattern of playing to the level of the competition you play and just skating by. Like, so you made a really good point earlier. Like, no one is just like, oh, we're getting by. The only game I think that we saw a little fire in was Kansas City from the offense, but then the defense didn't step up to play that game.
No.
The only game we looked like a total team so far, and I can't even say total because offense struggled, was the first game against the Saints, where it was energy, it was lively, but yet it left since then. And it's like, where are we gonna go get it? But someone's got to fix it. I did an article today. It's like, is the ship sinking, and can it be fixed? I honestly, right now, I said since week 3, it's gonna be better next week. That was 4 weeks ago, and it hadn't changed yet. So now I'm like, I don't think it's changing, guys. I just really don't, because I don't see who the hell is going to change it. You know what I mean? So you're going to have to prove me wrong. Now, I want to be proved wrong. It'll be one time in my life, like, God damn, I'm glad somebody proved me wrong. But right now, this it's not changing, dog. I don't care what we can sit up here and talk to all of the blue in the face about what they need to do to get on track. that shit ain't gonna happen until those guys on the field step up and make the plays as they supposed to play. Because Devin White has missed some plays this year that I never would have thought in a million years you see him not make. Like those are automatic plays for him, but it's not the same sense of focus. I'm not gonna say urgency because he's putting himself in the right spot to be able to make a play, but then it's coming up short. And that's not something you've seen from him early on in his career to like what's going on now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
well, I got something that I want to throw at you because it is salvageable. And I say this with all the humility in the world. You put me in there in that offense, we're going to spice it up. We're going to have some fun. Now, I want to ask you this because you played defense before. Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my game plan. And correct me if I'm wrong because I tell people can you stop it? I'm running a spread. I'm running crossing routes. Now, let me give you something. You got Perriman and Scotty Miller in the crossing. They both are 4-3 guys. Now, I got Evans either sometimes doing a go route or a back route, depending on if they give me cushion. I'm going to say, Brady, if they give him cushion, you throw the ball immediately to Evans because he's a big man and a lot of corners are not trying to tackle that, or you just do a slant. And again, if they want to try to have an extra person blitz, that's where I have Fournette. He's the chip blocker. And with that speed, and again, you've played the game. How many teams do you think in the league is going to stop a spread and a crossing routes if the Bucs get it right?
I mean, it's tough. They have the personnel to do it. And as anything on defense, you're trying to slow the offense down, right? And that spread is going to be hard to do because you have to make adjustments in your secondary. Who do you decide to take out? You now going to have to rely on pass rush with 4. It's going to be hard to blitz it because you're leaving spots open. If you bring that blitz, it's it's going to be tough. More creative things can be done and need to be done, but they also got to find a balance. Like right now, I just feel like there's totally no identity at all. Like 1 week, we're going to go throw the ball 55, 54 times, and the next week we're going to try to run it 45 times and get 16 yards. Like, what the hell? Where's the mix and balance of the offense? Because the way Fournette's been playing as well as he can play within the system and how they've been calling the plays. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But give him the ball in different ways. You know what I mean? Like you said, let him get a chip. Do a slip screen every now and then. It doesn't have to do that because he catches the ball well out the backfield, right? You know what I mean? He's slimmed down since the mini camp to where the joke was like, oh, we got too big. We got an offensive lineman wearing number 7. He can still move. He can still get out in space. Now you get a linebacker on him. You got those other 2 and those other slots dragging and going across the field. Who are they going to pick up? Are you going to guard with? I mean, Mike Evans going to get your jump ball. I mean, it's something that's hard because, like I said, with defense, our whole thing always is slowing down your timing and figuring out how to get pressure on you. Defense hates quick throws. We used to hate the 3-step drop and the 3-second throws because the best thing you're going to be able to do is try to get a long arm up and maybe knock a ball down. You're not going to get the pressure on the quarterback, even if the line's not great, because they're usually going to slide, chip either opposite direction the slide comes from, and the ball is leaving like super rapid pace. So it's something they got to try something. I mean, hell, I'm willing and ready to see anything right now that can get things going.
My man said, I knew we was going to be on the same page. I'm sorry, I'm just saying. Because it's so funny. Because, again, you played the game, and I played the game. I ain't played at that level. I would love to. But, yes, the problem that I have with most people, everybody ain't going to be the damn 2002 Bucs defense. Everybody's not going to be the steel curtain. Well, you can neutralize it this way. No, you can't, because Slick and I always said it's about the player's ability to do the scheme. The scheme is dead without a player's ability.
Mm-hmm.
You have these. This is why I say Leftwich is incompetent. Like I said, I think he plays scared and he's lost. You know how I would get the offense going with the run? I'm going to keep passing until it's going to open it up, because now, more than likely, your defense is going to have to back up to stay honest. And an HB draw with Fournette would be devastating because he likes to bruise people. And it will catch everyone off guard. That's how you set the pass up for this offense, because the line isn't built yet to be a strong physical run. But that's just my opinion, and I'm going to just let that go. But I appreciate getting expertise from an NFL player. So thank you for making me right. So I hope people on Twitter can see that. Appreciate you.
I got you. I got
Yeah,
one
man.
for you, James. This
What's up, man?
defensive front, and I know you're a defensive front guy. Why is it surrendering so many yards to no-name running backs?
Well, like I said, first and foremost, you got to understand the way NFL running backs are guys by system now. It's almost like you guys said, find something that works. I'm gonna plug a guy in that can do what I ask him to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's just inconsistent across the front right now. One, and then the other person we thought that was gonna help solidify the run defense to be in there to help stop it is Hakeem Hicks, and he hasn't been healthy. He's not in the game. So you don't have Ndamukong Suh, the person that you thought to have replace him along with Vita Vea, that normally is going to shut anything down, is not there. So now, not the Golden and everybody else has got to step in and play. It's still not the same kind of monster. It's not that first down run core defense that we've had. So now it helps open up holes. You're getting blocked at different levels. Now cutback lanes are there. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka is got to pick it up, and right now he's not. They said he was going to replace JPP. He hasn't played the same way that JPP did right now. You know what I'm saying? So there's differences on your line, and there's inconsistencies to where it's helping other teams exploit the run game, which was one of our strong suits before and last year, and even early on in the season. I was like, man, we're not going to give them no running yards. We're going to be solid. It's just everybody's not on the same accord right now, and they got to get it together. And I don't like using injuries as an excuse, but it hasn't. The injury bug has not been nice to us at all this season, man.
I mean, I need to watch the tape, but every time I look at JTS, he tends to overrun everything, and and allows it to be open.
It's hard as a pass rusher because
he's a pure pass rusher, and he has a pure pass rusher's mentality. Mm-hmm. He doesn't fit the run very well from the outside. So his contain is pretty weak at best. And then they do seem to look like they're attacking Vita Vea. So I would probably switch to a 4-man, maybe go to a 4-man front on obvious rundowns.
Yeah, well,
we do stuff the run here and there.
Yeah, it's just like I said, it's just inconsistent. And a lot of teams believe now the best way to beat your best weapon is to run to it and attack it, and that's kind of what we've been seeing. Bring that double team up to Vita, make him beat it. It's a long time to sit him in an NFL contest and endure double teams all day long, man. It's brutal, and that's what really, that's what happened. That's what's happening with Vita right now. He's still human. He put his pants on like everybody else on the damn football field. So it's only gonna be so many times he can stop, take the double team, split the double team, and make the play in the backfield without surrendering some, man. So they got to find a way to get more help up the middle, even if it's bringing a little bit more pressure with the blitz to help get the offensive lineman off of them to make that play.
Yeah, well, let me ask you this: if you're on defense, because being him, it's like we have gone back and forth. Mm-hmm. I'm a sole believer in playing nothing but man and jam. I need my corners and receivers slap boxing on the line of scrimmage. You know what I'm saying? But the reason why I'm all about disrupting timing. Most quarterbacks hate chaos at the line of scrimmage, and you could probably agree to that, because if they can't read that first option, and it's a little different when your line is maybe average, because now you got to worry about a strong pass rush getting at you. Mm-hmm. Why, in God's name, does Bowles insist on doing cushion when it doesn't work?
As easy as it sounds to say just play man, not everybody can do it. It's hard as hell to play man-to-man defense in the NFL for a certain amount of time. Like I said, even with that great defensive line we had and the pressure we put on quarterbacks, we didn't do a whole lot of man coverage. It was like cover 2. We played some 3 and 4 sometimes. We blitz every once in a blue moon, a lot of stunts with the line. So I think it's something like you said, your players have to fit your scheme, and I don't think they have the guys that can just lock up every single down all the time. And so I think that's what it is. But do you need to change it up every now and then? Yeah. Sometimes you walk up, jam, call press, call man, and even come after you do it a couple times, fake the press, then drop back off into your zone. You do something to mix the look up so they can't just guess what you're going to do. But it's so many times where it's like, oh, we're great on first down, great on second down. Here we go, third down. It's like, damn, you just played it right. 1 and 2. How'd you give up this soft cushion on third? So it's got to be, it's just got to be mixed in. And I'm hoping, next year, and I'm not trying to say the season's over, we got to go to next year, but he does need to get somebody else in there that can be the eyes to be that coordinator where he can do the head coach stuff, have his input like Tony used to do. Tony used to walk around with every position, but you best believe he stuck his head in the defensive side of the meeting rooms a little bit more, right? So, and that's what Bowles needs to do. I don't think you need to be a dual role as a head coach unless you absolutely have to. But if you hire the right people around you, let them do their job and you oversee it and make sure it's the way that it needs to be to run correctly. And when he was a coordinator last year and just a coordinator, he had ways to do things. And I'm sure if something went down that Arians didn't like, Bruce got in his ass about why he made that call, get your defense fixed. Who going to get in his ass now besides him?
It's true. Yeah, absolutely. And there's different ways to create that press that me and you both talked about. But you can play a roll free. So one corner presses, the other corner doesn't. You can play cover two where they're playing the flat zone, so they can be as heavy-handed as they want. It doesn't make a difference. So there's loads of ways that they can do that in a zone scheme, and then they just play underneath the deep route. But anyway, there's so many other things that they can do. They're just not seeming to do them. The thing that I don't like to see from as the DB coach that I am and former defensive coordinator that I was, is people kind of standing at the sticks, corners standing at the sticks and just waiting for routes, letting them catch the ball and then trying to make the tackle. And I'm like, well, you're going to surrender some yards because this guy's running full speed. And we see a lot of the times a Colton Davis or somebody is camped out on like the 8-yard mark, 8 yards off the field. And it's like, well, that's not ever, you do that if you're expecting a deep threat, not like a really deep threat. I still think he's got the long speed that he can still play at a 5 or something like that and still not be like too far, because all you're going to do is allow them to catch the ball within 6 yards, and then they're going to probably push that 8 yards because you've got to come down and make that tackle. It puts so much pressure on your corners from a standing start who's just sitting there reading and then reacting, rather than getting a bit of a pedal going on and they can get moving. They need to get their feet buzzing, and I'm just not seeing that from the Buccaneers defense. They just kind of stand and wait a little bit.
Hey, let me jump in here real quick, because our guy, Big James, he's a busy man, and he's been traveling. You've been traveling for a day or so, right? So
yeah, man, I got home late last night. They had an alumni weekend out at the University of Nevada, and they had me. They invited a bunch of guys out, so I was out there with a bunch of my old teammates and old coaches, and got a chance to see a lot of people I hadn't seen in a very long time. So it was a great experience, and had a chance to take my son with me to. My wife let them my wife went to school there, but my son's kind of older now, playing football himself, and to see Dad's plaque on the Hall of Fame, man, he got really excited about it.
That's cool.
That's beautiful. Where is his son playing high school ball or college?
My youngest is playing high school football. He's a freshman quarterback and outside linebacker. And I want him to follow in Dad's shoes if that's what he wants to do. I just don't like the position he's playing right now. It's too much pressure.
That's right. All right, James, tell everybody where they can find you. And again, we appreciate you taking the time and bringing that perspective that all of us wish we could have, but none of us have, man. And that's coming from a man who's played the game. But let everybody know where they can find you, sir.
Hey, man, I really appreciate it. You can check out the podcast on YouTube. It's a Big Game Sports Buzz. Also, that's on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music as well. On Twitter, it's at JCan97 is my personal, and then also at BG Sports Buzz if you want to follow the stories. And on Twitter, it's BG_sports_buzz. So I try to be on everything and get as much content out there as I can. I drop a game's pewter perspective about twice a week. Usually a reflection on the game we just had, and today's title I dropped one called "Is the Ship Sinking?"
Absolutely, James. Thank you again for the time, man. We appreciate it. Like always, you're always welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Former Buccaneer great James Canada. Give him some thanks, show him some love. Follow him on Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube. Hell, I think he's on Facebook. He's everywhere, man. James, thank you so much, sir.
I appreciate it, man. Y'all have a great night, fellas.
Yes, pleasure. Pleasure.
Oh, here, I don't need to be in the middle. There we go. I'll say this. James is a hell of a guy. A great resource. Slick can elaborate on that a little bit. Slick's been doing some back and forth projects with him. AJ, we'll do a formal introduction with you via email. Maybe you can get some love with going with that guy. I've been bouncing in and out because I've been, trying to round up some. I'll say men, but none have taken the bait. So I'll say I've been trying to round up some boys. But so I missed if you guys have gotten into anything too deep, but I want to play a little game for a second, okay? And this is for the 47,000 people that are watching, or at least those three. I want to do you know how they have all over Facebook and these places, the caption this and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Nope, that's not it. Where the hell did it go, man? Did I not load it? All right, so we'll wait. We'll wait on that. Evidently, I'm an idiot, which goes without saying. Oh, wait a minute. I do want to say, most Bucs fans probably felt like this when after the game, you go on, your favorite social media account, whatever it is, and the opposing team fans are going to rip you and all that, right?
Mhm.
And the next morning you wake up and you're like, wow, that really happened. And people are like, yo, man, what's up with your team? Are you good? I'm over here like this. Yep. I'm straight, bro. I'm straight. Shout out to Rick Hughes at Real Rick Rants on Twitter. Former Bucs Report show host. We hijacked part of his opening tonight. So, haha, Rick. But if you're not familiar with who Rick is, he has a Hall of Fame picture here, a Bucs Report Hall of Fame picture. We back in the day, we used to do screenshots of the live shows when guys would do something silly. And let's just say Rick was not excited about the game, but he still managed to show an O face. So there you go. Oh boy, there's Rick. Much love to Rick. I know I want to do a caption this with this picture right here, guys. You're going to see Blaine Gabbert in the foreground. And of course, Brady, it looks like he's talking to Coach Leftwich or Sandwich Maker. I'm not sure what we're calling him again.
He's the sandwich maker right now.
But let's hear your caption for this, guys. Look at the look on Brady's face, dude. And Blaine's over here talking about, I'm making like $3.5 million, literally doing nothing.
It's a good time to be him, isn't it?
What do you think Brady's saying to Leftwich there? You see how Leftwich hands are? He's like, I don't know.
What the fuck was that?
Yeah.
You think I gave up my family for this, bro?
He's like, I've got no family either. I don't know. I think he's got kids. I have no idea.
I'm getting you do know your card is not going to be active at $1 place.
Byron's like, what's the Wi-Fi password again? Brady's like,
Right.
We're gonna have to talk.
Leftwich sucks.
Do I look like do I look like Carson Palmer to you?
Like, dude, it's bad. Oh, who we got? Hey, Christopher Cole, man, you hanging in for the long run. Long time no see. We appreciate that. It's bad when the Bears' offense is creative as ours. Ooh. There's a comment for you, Christopher. Bringing it strong.
No, it's not even just that though. It's the fact that we went against a team that put 21 points on us. They were able to move the ball convincingly. Let's just go Philip Walker. I'm going to give him his prize. That's what come up on my thing. His name is Philip Walker. No, I'm not giving the PJ. He's Philip Walker. 16 for 22. 177 yards. 2 touchdowns. Dante Foreman, who I believe was on the street not so long ago. 100 yards.
He dropped off one of my Amazon packages a couple weeks ago, bro.
Yeah, for sure. Cooper Hubbard, 63. Like, come on. That's unacceptable. And then we look at the wide receiving numbers aren't good because they spread the ball around a lot. But this Buccaneers team should not be surrendering that much yardage and points against a team that doesn't even know what the f is going on. They just lost their lead dog, their biggest weapon in Christian McCaffrey, which probably would have been. We've beaten this team with him, and we can't beat him without him. It's just absolutely mind-boggling. A shocking shower of shit.
Well, you know what they did? It's not. I don't find it coincidental. When Antoine Winfield went out, where did they go? They attacked. They took care of a weakness. That's how we should have been against.
Nolan Turner came in for him, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, but
off the street.
It's just literally, it's common sense. It's football 101. There's a reason why people aren't starters or third stringers or coming off the street. You take advantage of that.
Yeah.
And we didn't, but PJ sure did. So those XFL jokes, you can put them away now because
Yeah,
he
yeah.
can say I beat a Super Bowl contending team on paper. So
Mm-hmm.
hell, we and the funny thing is, whoever the Carolina plays next week, they might get crushed. They might get stomped. And that is what's a sickening thing to my stomach, because Steelers lost, and they lost. It wasn't a blowout, but you can tell they were a team that went nowhere. It's just, again, Byron has to go. I think a lot, again, if this was like the team with Josh Freeman, then of course I'd say, damn, him
Right
leaving
out the season.
Sutton. Yeah, no, but you have Brady, you have
Mm-hmm.
Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. It again, we heard it. Everybody here saw what my man James said. He said, "Man, that would be hard." You said it yesterday, Slick. Crossing routes are almost damn near impossible to defend.
Yeah, it requires a lot of work.
It's crazy.
And you only need to put one in. You could have one guy in your spread offense that runs the crosser. You don't have to have like 3 crosses. You could have a hitch, long ball, like a go route, a crosser, and then a slant. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got you got a high top, and then you got a real high one, and then on the other side you got a changer.
Amen. Amen. And again, having fun. And like you said, you're a coach. You love having fun with your players, and not to the point where you get distracted, but with this firepower, it's like this. Slick, let's say we go back in time and you was in college and you had the 2001 Hurricanes roster.
Mm-hmm.
That would be fun, right?
Oh, yeah.
I would. Can you imagine?
I'd have so much fun writing up stuff and drawing up shit.
Exactly. And basically, this is Leftwich. You have this, but see, again, this is why people would. I said this when Winston was here. I told people, you got to look at people's resume and see what it is. We can go back to when he was in Arizona. He always had talent, in my opinion, covering his shortcomings. Who did he have as a wide receiver when he was there? Larry Fitzgerald. He had Carson Palmer. Carson Palmer was not a bad QB. Carson Palmer was up there in his time. He had, when you have good pieces, when you could ever say Leftwich built this guy? Like, he's not the whisperer. He's not Arians. He's not someone where you can say, well, this guy single-handedly helped elevate each quarterback. No, you can't. I think the fact is they've been coddling him so long, he believes his own hype. Like, I'm telling everybody, go watch the interview. When he started chuckling and acting like this was a game, that I was scared. I said, Glazers, you got to do something about this. Joel, somebody got to get down there and knock on the door and say, what was so funny? What are you laughing at? Yeah. My guy.
And I'll jump in with you on that, AJ, and to go a little farther. Shout out to JC Allen from Pewter Report, who asked the question, former Bucs Report guy here, for sticking to his guns, because what Byron was trying to do is what we call, back when I grew up, he was trying to big dick that reporter. Okay. and what was really going on was Byron had no idea what the fuck the question was. He doesn't understand all the analytics and all that. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have a problem with the defense coordinator that's not big on fantasy football stats and shit. I'm cool with that. But you don't be disrespectful when you're standing there holding the fucking L at 3-4 with the greatest of all time and 2 of the top, 15, 16 wide receivers in the league, all right, and a Super Bowl ring on your finger, and you're going to laugh at somebody who's literally asking you, he's laying a softball up for you to say the right thing. And instead of doing that, you had to be a fucking asshole and start laughing and trying to demean buddy. Did you notice how Byron looked around like he was waiting for everybody to join in with him, and they all just stared at him stone cold? Byron, you read the room like you read a defense, bro. Wake the fuck up, okay? Pull your head out of your ass. You're still okay. You're known as the defense coordinator of the Super Bowl champion Buccaneers in 2020, right? But most of us still remember you as the Jacksonville Jaguar quarterback that sucked the hind fucking titty every fucking week. Okay, bro? So let's be honest here. Okay? when you had Jameis Winston or any other quarterback you call plays for, you did jack shit. You had Tom Brady, you won a Super Bowl with a fucking stellar defense. And by the way, it sounds like more often than not, that little red evil man from up in the booth was coming down on game day the Super Bowl year and crossing out your fucking game plan because, well, we see why now, bro. Dude, I'm not saying he's not an NFL quality coach. I'm not saying he can't coach in this league. I'm not saying I know more than he does. What I'm saying is like most of us out here, the problem is, yes, Byron, as you laugh at us because we don't really know the game and all that, you're right. We don't like you do or should. But here's the thing. If we know what the fuck you're calling, what the fuck do you think the pros know across the field from you? What do you think the defensive guys do, though? If like you, the people who you laugh at because they dare question your decision making are the ones who are calling out the play that you called before it's run. Dude, my wife is over here who watches football all the time, but she's not a Madden player. She can't tell you what a 3-4 or 4-3 or any of that shit is. She doesn't know what a Mike line back, none of that. But she's calling they're going to run. Oh, this is going to be a run. Oh, look, they're going to fake the run and try to throw it out here to the side. And she's right every time. Byron, she's 53 fucking years old. Never played it down in her fucking life.
She knows
and he's guessing what you're doing. So imagine what the guys who study film and your tendencies are doing, bro. Come on, man. Dude, like Randy Moss and Chris Carr used to say, come on, man.
Come on, son. Come on, son.
Snap the fuck out of it, bro.
But this is why I tell people, Slick, you're a coach. I would love to be on a coaching staff with you. You know why? Because you know what the hell you're doing, but you have humility and you're willing to learn. Byron doesn't. And as you guys said, I'm going to tell you, he doesn't deserve being in the pro level because he needs to go back to Pee Wee football. You know why? The basics. He doesn't have it. If you can't adjust in any level of football, you can't make it. And that's why he said that he's trying to use his status. But again, if, like you said, that reporter was being nice, he couldn't have did that with me. I'd have been like, well, let's go back to your track record. Every time you go somewhere, you have a team hand it to you and you still fuck it up. So is it you or is it your squad that's helping you be irrelevant? You be relevant because right now we see you're fucking up the GOAT. And no, Mike Evans is a top 5 receiver. Chris Godwin, when he was healthy, top 10. Let's just be real. They were the most dangerous duo at healthy. So you mean to tell me you don't know how to, utilize that? No, he is some shit. We have to say what it is because I don't care. Again, your wife, she knows it. Everybody knows it. And we call it all the time. Damn. I told you, this is literally Bubba Gump Leftwich. Flight of the Bumblebee. That's his go-to. Flight of the Bumblebee. Coach, they're backing up. They're playing prevent. And it's 3rd and 1. What are we doing? Flight of the Bumblebee. And that means he's going to throw it deep. No crossing routes. Or it's 1st and 28. What are you guys going to do? Flight of the Bumblebee. That means we're going to run up the middle and get 1 yard. Oh, I'm gonna get Evans killed next time. Did you see that screen pass that Russell tried to block? And when Evans went out, my heart sank.
Oh, dude, Evans got crushed, bro. Yeah. Oh, he got crushed, and Gage like ran to like the 5th level guy. Like he's like, oh, that's my guy. I'm gonna go right past him.
Oh God, my stomach turned. I was like, if Evans, oh my God. So again, he doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and again, that's all right. If you don't, give it to somebody else. There is somebody out there that would dream to have this team. I'm telling you, it's not hard, Slick. I guarantee you could do a better job. And it's not that.
I'm a DC. I know nothing about the offense. That's what I teach the dark.
I'm telling you, you could. Don't like I tell people. Leftwich just happened to have an opportunity and someone there to baby him. He had Arians to back him and hype him up. I'm sorry. Fuck, I wish we would have hyped him up till he could have went to Jacksonville so we wouldn't have to deal with this. Damn it. Why did we? We should have been like, you know what? You are the man, Leftwich. Go get that job at Jacksonville.
We should have started a GoFundMe to help Jacksonville pay for it, man. Well, like I said before on a show earlier in the season, sadly, you're playing Madden online, right? You hook up with someone, you don't know who the hell it is over there. You give them the ball first. You see what they call an offense. Those motherfuckers that you already know, you got their whole game plan down after one series. That's Byron Leftwich. Dude, if you were a fucking video game, bro, you'd be NFL rookie mode. You feel me? Okay? This is bad because for nothing else, talk schemes, tendencies, DVOA, EPIC, whatever the fuck you want to talk about. Again, if a 53-year-old lady sitting here in North Florida out in the middle of the woods who ain't never played a goddamn down of game of football or of Madden is calling your plays before you snap it, that's a problem. Slick, how you doing over there, buddy? I know it's kind of late. It's like 4 a.m, huh?
Getting late, but I just wanted to add to what's been said. We've got offensive line troubles. What's the easiest thing you can do for an offense to get rid of those offensive line issues? Quick game.
Quick game.
They don't have to worry about blocking for a long time because it's the quick game. You go to a simple West Coast scheme. And I'm not saying you can't jump from scheme to scheme every week to week, but you've got to have a quick game within your arsenal, right? It's got to be ready to rock and roll.
You ever notice when they go hurry up, they move the ball right down the fucking field?
Exactly.
Yeah. Every time, like for the last 3 years, when they go and hurry up, it's like, oh yeah, there's that offense, and then they go, well, we're not going to do that anymore. And I'm thinking, I understand the offensive line gets wore out from running up and down the field and not getting that little breather in between plays. But the other side of that is that defense is gassed, bro. And that's when you get guys running free, bro. And shout out to Mike Evans for owning that drop to start the game.
It's going to be one that he's going to be pissed off about.
Oh, yeah. And that's dude, that's how a man handles his shit. That was my bad. I'm going to take the heat for it. I'll say this. If the entire team crumbled on the first mistake in the beginning of the game, you all weren't going to win that fucking game anyway. We got a random guest, dude, not a Bucs Report guy, not a podcaster, but we got a regular dude. His name's Eric Moreno. You want to bring him on? He's probably going to tell us what he feels about it. And I know, Slick, you're getting tired, buddy. I'm just going to say, have another drink. Give us like 15 more minutes.
Yeah,
but we're going to bring Eric Moreno on, you guys. Let's hear what he's got to say. And I feel like we should probably wrap the show up here pretty soon because it's getting late. So what I'll do is I'll bring on Eric. You guys kick it back and forth. I'll come back in like 5 minutes and we'll wrap the show up, guys.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Eric Moreno, welcome to the stream, sir. This show, you don't have to censor yourself. You don't have to hold back. Say what you got to say. Feel what you got to feel. And know that the guy up there, like catty corner from you, he's ready to burn the whole fucking thing down, bro.
Hey, I know, man. I got back from Spain about a month ago. It's hard to time, it's hard to, 6-hour time difference, but, let's not talk. That was good. I'm back now. But what's going on, Slick? What's going on, Curry? Another tough game. I mean, we were one of the best running teams last year in 2020. Now in 32nd in DPA, a point average or something like that. I don't know. You think maybe they should start Rashad White and then maybe have Lenny go in? I think they should split the carries. Rashad White, I'm
with Buffer. I think having him as a changeup is fine, and yeah, I think they'll embed him more and more as it goes because he's still a rookie, he's still learning his trade, and that's absolutely fine. But if the scheme's bust, it doesn't matter who you put in; it's still bust. And I do agree that there's problems with the scheme. I just don't know if it's 100% left, which I do believe that there's a bit of Brady involved in that because there's no way that those two don't come together. But what needs to happen now is someone's got to come in and fix it because this is the problem with the Buccaneers right now is they can't score touchdowns. And that was something they did not have a problem with last year. Right now, the Buccaneers can't stop the run. For 3 years, they could stop for 3 years with Bruce Arians and Todd Bowles. They stopped the run. I'm not saying the keys to winning the game is going to be stop the run and be able to and get in the red area and start scoring, but it's can help.
Lamar Jackson, you're gonna have to. If you don't stop the run against the Ravens, you're not gonna win.
Exactly. I mean, we saw a little bit of the Buccaneers against a running quarterback, and I said I wanted to see what challenge that presented. I think I can't remember who we went into running quarterback, Marcus Mariota, and they kept him in check for the most part. I mean, he broke off here and there, but this is something they're going to have to get right, and it's got to be done soon.
Yeah, and just to piggyback what you said, Slick, against that against Baltimore, would you say put a QB spy on Lamar and kind of like not load the box, but just be mindful, because I feel like with this team, he's not going to necessarily go to the outside. He wants to destroy us running up the middle, because that's where he picks up his momentum.
Yep.
Would you Devin White spy him or Levante David, in your opinion?
You can. I don't believe in spying the whole game, because it just makes it obvious what you're doing. So you take away the spy by putting someone who's running a route near him. So what I would do is you play man, but your two middle linebackers play zone.
Okay.
So they can still spy and they can still move. So they're reading the quarterback and they only move when certain things happen. That's probably what I would do, because spies don't always work, because you end up doing one thing, you can take advantage of it. And once they know you're spying, that's when you can start taking advantage of it. So that's fine. But you can also do it with create. If you've got good linebackers, which we have, blitz down the middle, because if they see the run, they will peel.
Mm-hmm.
Right. One thing you teach your middle linebackers to do in blitzing is, if they see pass, they blitz. If they don't see pass, they see run, they fit the run.
Mm-hmm.
So they will just, if they see that ball's bouncing out, they just peel back out.
That's good shit. And I'm gonna piggyback. Eric, you was talking about Rashad. As for running backs, because that's my position, that's what I love. He's not.
He had some good runs.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Right now, running back need to be good with or without a line. So sometimes you got to know how to hit the hole and when to hit it. And a guy like Rashad, he's not ready for that yet, because he hasn't gotten acclimated to the speed of the game, and his vision is so at this time. So get him. You want that kind of guy in there to give Fournette rest and to build his confidence. But right now, you got to utilize him. He's a better pass catching running back. This is why I wish that we had Keyshawn Vaughn back, because he complemented. He was a more, I'll say it like this. Fournette was like the 2016 Ezekiel Elliott, and Keyshawn Vaughn was Pollard. He is more explosive, but he knows how to go in between the tackles. Rashad, use him in receiving. So sometimes use a back situation where Fournette is the blocker and Rashad is the receiving running back. That will fix a lot of things. You got to always utilize the best of your weapons. So once that happens, honestly, I would use Rashad like to close out the game, maybe if we have a big lead, just to feel him out and how he is of contact, because certain running backs can't take that kind of contact.
How about dual running back? How about two running back sets with three receivers and the tight end, and maybe Cole Keith blocking, because we're gonna need Cole Keith. Ravens got Calais Campbell. They got
Can you say that personnel again? I'm just going through my head.
Two running back sets, three receivers, and a tight end.
You've got 12 players.
Okay.
So you're gonna have to drop somebody.
Yeah, and Keith. I don't know about Keith yet.
Okay, maybe take out Keith.
I don't think
and just keep on as a release
his
block
awareness and getting separation isn't there yet. I would rather be comfortable more with Otten, because he knows how to get separation, and he's a fluid runner. When you're a tight end or a receiver, you have to be a fluid runner. And if you're not a fluid runner, if you're like a little janky with it, it's not going to help. You want the janky guys more for blocking, because they don't have to do as much. But with what you're saying, our line isn't built ready yet for two running backs. We don't have that. You got to have a mean ass strong line like we had with Jensen and Marpet in the past. We don't have that anymore. You got two green guys that's still learning the game.
How about there's hope that if Jensen comes back, put Jensen at center and maybe put Henson at Hainsey at guard.
Yeah, I think that's what they'll probably go with if he did come back. But I wouldn't expect him back until mid-December.
Someone was saying as early as a Rams game, but he hasn't even started practicing yet. Maybe after the bye week.
They said they asked Coach Bowles, and Coach Bowles said he's recently come out the boot. He's still limping. Someone who's still limping ain't playing in that Rams game, and that's why I would say someone who's still limping. I'd probably put bye week's a nice idea. I think it's just when it comes to injuries, rather than set a time, that you can't really set a time on an injury because they change from week to week. If you re-injure it just by your rehab or just trying to start early, you could set weeks. So it's better to just say, at the moment, they were all talking about the playoffs. I would probably say the earliest he's coming back is mid-December, which would mean he'd get the last 4 games of the season to come back to. I think we're just wanting to have that wishful thinking of we solved one problem, yeah? Buccaneers can solve one simple problem now. They can go and buy an offensive lineman. There are offensive linemen that are still unsigned that probably could still do a better job. At least bring them to camp. Not camp, sorry. Bring them to practice and see how they do. There's no harm in having a look.
Eric Flowers.
Eric Flowers, yeah.
He was a tackle, moved to guard. But I mean, if he's unsigned, what does that tell you? That tells you, other teams are thinking that he probably sucks. He's probably not going to be good.
It could be price. It could be. There's so many different things.
Yeah,
price, and sometimes somebody doesn't fit the mold of what they running. Because I tell everybody this all the time: every lineman is not fit for a certain scheme. Again, if you are a more of a mean running, you don't want to get a finesse guy, in the gutter guy. If you want a passing guy, you go for more of the finesse. But those guys are typically off the streets because this is a passing league now. So it's going to be hard to get that. So, and again, pricing. A lot of people are in cap hell. Look at New Orleans. They're done.
We're in trouble too next year. Did anyone see the video? The ref asking Mike Evans to sign a scorecard. Did anyone see that video?
Yes. I've seen the video, yeah.
Could Evans get suspended? Could he get in trouble for that?
He might not know. He might not know.
No?
No, you can. Unless there's like something that they get given a rule book that tells them what they can and can't do on game day, which I doubt they would. You tell the people who shouldn't be getting the. You wouldn't tell 53 players on both sides of the team, say, look, make sure don't sign anything by the referees. You tell the referees, don't bother the players. You can't sign anything because it's not for the players. It's to protect the integrity of the game.
Yeah,
that's right.
So if Mike Evans wanted to come around with a load of free stuff and start giving it to referees, that's fine. But what they can't do is request it.
Yeah, right. The ref should know that. The ref should know better than that.
That was a dodgy call that they called a PI on Mike Evans, and here's him getting an autograph. What the hell's going on? And that's why they're not allowed to do it. So it's easier to tell the referees to don't do it. And there's cameras everywhere, so they'll catch them eventually. I would assume they just didn't realize the camera was running. And you wouldn't go down the players' tunnel. You'd probably wait until after the game. Maybe knock on the dressing room door or something. I don't know. There's probably ways of doing it. They'd probably fraternize with NFL players at some point when they're having their post-game meal or something like that, the home team, yeah? I'm sure that they have that opportunity. But this was just a bit unusual because it was so brazen, and I'm sure it happens all the time.
Yeah.
It can't be just one person.
Hey, guys. Great job as usual, man. We've got AJ doing some jet lag stuff coming in from the West Coast, unless you're still there. It looks like you're still there with us, or is that your light?
Yep.
And we got Slick. Slick's in the United Kingdom, so it's by my estimation
5 in the morning there, right?
Yeah, 4 o'clock, isn't it?
4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, 4. Okay.
Or as they would say over there, it's 4 a.m., isn't it?
4 a.m.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, so we'll wrap this up. I'm going to put a couple funny little BS things up on the screen. But before I do that, Eric, let us know where they can find you, Twitter, Facebook, wherever the case may be. And thank you so much for joining.
I am Eric Moreno 45 on Twitter. You can get hold of me on there. Facebook, Eric Moreno. That's it.
All right,
Cheers,
man. We appreciate you coming on, man. Join us next week. We're going to be here every Monday night to get some frustration out. Maybe at some point actually celebrate and overreact in a positive way, but you never know. All right. Thank you, Eric. See, I did that. I just, boom. I was kind of like, thanks for coming on, bro. I appreciate it, man. You were really awesome, Eric. I wanted to put this up too. Sorry, guys. I'm an asshole, dude. Before we go, one more meme.
Facts. Look.
AJ, we appreciate the time, man. Hope everything's going good out there with you and yours. Let everybody know where they can find you. We put up an article with your podcast in today, man. It's doing really well. Shout out that and let us know what you got coming up, brother.
Absolutely. I got a video coming up tomorrow about the preview between the Buccaneers and the Ravens. You can find me. It's at AJS About Buck in Time. That's my YouTube. Flex underscore Luthor 813. And that's me on Instagram and Twitter. And then Anthony Turner on Facebook if you feel like chopping it up.
Hey, man, we appreciate you guys, ladies and gentlemen. That we got AJ. He's heading out, man. We appreciate you taking the time. We'll see you next week, bro. Thank you so much.
Cheers, brother.
All right. You gentlemen have a good evening.
Later.
I'm sleeping in a minute.
Hey, man, Slick. Great job. I'm going to put on a video. Why don't you tell everybody what you got coming up real quick and then get the hell out of here.
Okay, so we got the NFL games in London, so I will be doing a little bit of the on-spot reporting, kind of giving you guys a insight of what it's like to be a fan on our game day, I guess. Obviously, it won't be Bucs-related stuff, but it just kind of gives you an idea of what we're about. My show, Across the Buck and Palm, won't be showing on the Saturday because I have to get up early to go to London, because a lot of us don't live in London, surprisingly. London's about a 3-hour drive. So get up early in the morning because it's obviously an early kickoff. It's about, I believe it's like 1:30 a.m., maybe 2:30 a.m. 2:30 p.m. Early doors on that. And then obviously I also won't be doing my show Buck Wild, but you can follow me. I do a little bit of work on the Bucs Report social medias, and then of course my own. I don't remember what they're called, but just follow Stevie Slick Robert or Stevie or Coach Slick, one of those. They'll be there, and we do reaction videos, we do funny videos, we just talk topics, we talk about the articles. The Bucs Report comes out, kind of give you in a nutshell kind of vibe about that article, so you can go and have a little look at it, and then we just gain fan interest, really, see how it goes. Those videos are doing pretty well so far.
Absolutely, Slick. Thank you so much, man. Again, if you need to find out where to follow him, click on any one of the articles at Bucs Report. There's links to everything that he does or everything we do. And we appreciate it, Slick. We're going to get you out of here, get you some rest. I'm going to drop a couple videos here at the end to show everybody. We do appreciate everybody that watched. I know Slick always says, is it Go Bucs?
Go Bucs.
I'll Go Bucs on like 14 or something.
Yeah. So whatever I'm in the mood for. Bucs on me, Bucs on free. 1, 2, 3, Go Bucs.
All right, get out of here, man.